So the first question, what is the meaning behind the hummingbird? How did it kind of, evolve as the logo for the band?
Originally, of course everyone knows that 10 Years had formed in '99 with Mike Underdown. There was no logo yet. It was just, they had as a matter of fact, the original font that 10 Years was written in, they made a big backdrop of it. And if you look at that old school font on Into the Half Moon, it looks like it says toy ears instead of 10 years, which is pretty funny. But it was a friend of ours, Travis Stevens, that had, he was a digital graphics designer out of Savannah Art Institute down there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had different things we were trying, and logos were just, that's one of those things where you can either come off like you're trying too hard, or they just corny, or the logo's the hardest thing to do. But he had this thing sort of pre-made up for the most part, and Brian had seen it first, and he's like, "Hey man, can we use that for this Killing All That Holds You EP that we're getting ready to release?" Well, actually, the first Killing All That Holds You was an EP, and the cover of that is, it looks like an angel. It's
Yep.
sort of black. That's a sculpture that I did.
Okay.
That Travis went over it with just after, he did a lot of post art work on it. But then when we released the full length of Killing All That Holds You, that's when the bird was introduced. And at first it was just a cool logo, and it was very that image was just, it had just like a thing to it, like it caught your eye. But then it made me go, well, maybe I need to learn about hummingbirds. And then you read into hummingbirds, and they're one of to be so small and beautiful, they're one of the most aggressive creatures out there, because they have to be to stay alive. And I sort of applied that to us as a band trying to make it. We had to be as aggressive as possible and take no for not take no for an answer. And we, dumped all of our own money. I was going to night school, had a construction job that I'd started up from the ground up, and then practicing 5 days a week.
Right.
The load was getting heavy, so I took time off from school, college, never went back. But it sort of just turned into its own thing. And then when we finally came to the autumn effect, we thought, let's just go real hummingbird, like full hummingbird. So yeah, it's right there. But the logo just stuck because it was just a logo that really, it was memorable, and we felt like it fit for us, and especially after we read into how they have to and the reason they have to fight so much to stay alive is because their metabolism's through the roof, and they pretty much have to consume 3 times their body weight every day just to stay alive. So they're very aggressive creatures, and we just applied that to our mentality of making it in this industry.
Makes sense. Let's see. Where did the title for 11 a.m. come from? It seems lately like the band has dropped, the Daydreamer part of the title.
Well, we just keep 11 on to write it on the list. It's just easier to shorthand it. But yeah, the Daydreamer thing is just as important. It's 11 a.m. Daydreamer is that right before lunchtime when you go into work at 8 in the morning, 7, 8 in the morning, and you're feeling like a zombie. Your brain starts wondering about what you would want to do with your life, and what your goals and ambitions as you sit at this desk, or burgers or mechanics or whatever, as you're doing this, and you're just going, that's when you start daydreaming, around that time, that lunch period. And it's, the whole song is pretty much, you got one life to live, really try, go for it, because we did. And if we really had not been this successful, I would have walked away going, I'm very pleased with myself because I wholeheartedly tried.
Right.
And I think the hardest thing is for people to take that chance, because when you chase a dream, lots of times there's not a stability to it. You've got to just take a leap of faith. So that's that whole song.
So we know in Minus the Machine there's largely like a color theme. Where did that come from? How did it evolve?
Well, it depends on whichever song you're talking about. Like with Dancing with the Dead, I just had this concept of trying to. Originally, I had no idea what the lyrics were going to be about, and I'll just, brainstorm on paper, like one-line poetry, or if I sing into a recorder, I'll just do one-liners, and if there's something that they stick out, then it'll be like a jumping off point, a riding point. And my whole angle on going into Dancing with the Dead was trying to work in as many colors into the lyrics as possible. But, you know, like with Envy Green and Rage Red and it was I've challenged myself, and sometimes I get stuck in my own head and some songs take longer. That one was tricky with the lyrics, but at the end of the day I was very, very pleased with it. But yeah, that was just me trying to test myself and see how many colors I could put into one song. And the song is just about someone that's pretty almost like interrogation room, like someone that's been caught and they're in an interrogation room, and it's the back and forth of like you're here, you know. Blaze Rage Red is the color of you, careful what you do. Another dead color, Bled Blue is new, careful what you choose. It's like, are you gonna come clean, or are you gonna every bird sings when they're envy green? That means like all the people have already rolled over on you.
Right.
Like the whole thing is like you got no leg to stand on, your lies have caught up with you. Are you gonna, you know, take me all the way to the edge, you know, show me how you want it to, or keep dancing with the dead, you know. It's like it's about coming clean with what you're caught red handed with. Yeah. So
your favorite lyric on Minus the Machine? Or favorite song lyrically?
On Minus the Machine. I do love the lines, satellites send us a savior, because I think we're so consumed with...
I think that would be mine.
Yeah, I remember when I came up with the lyric, I was very, you know, pleased, because I keep trying to, this many albums in, not rip myself off. You know, sometimes I'll use... Somebody asked me before, they're like, do you do it on purpose to use lyrics that are for another song title in another song? I'm like, not deliberately on purpose, but, you know, I'll make everything intersect and make it cohesive. But yeah, that's one of my ones up there. But different songs mean different things. I think that in Soma there's some good ones, you know, like Brother Where's Abel, you know, it's all about, you know. So, but I'd say Satellites and This is Saviors is one of my favorites.
How did the spot on Reviving by Finding Iris come about? It seemed like it was at least all of us. It was 4:00 in the morning, and we got a nice surprise when we first heard about it.
Yeah, that one was just 100%. I'd never met those guys, and they were doing a record with Travis Wyrick, which we did Killing All That Holds You with. And Travis just called me up. He's like, "Hey man, these guys were really wondering if you'd come out and do them a solid." And I listened to the song, and it was one of those things where it was a one-day thing, and it was in and out, and it was pretty cool. And I was glad to help a band out. And
it's a great song.
It's funny though, because I'd never even really heard the final result until everybody was sending me links to check it out. I got in there and sang the parts, but I'd only sang on the parts that I was working on, so I didn't hear the final song, and before lyrics and everything, the final. But it turned out pretty cool. And it's funny though, like I guess I'm in my own little naive bubble that I create stuff and I do it from the heart first, but I don't realize how many people actually pay attention to the stuff I do. And I didn't think anyone would even notice, and then out of nowhere, like everybody's like, "Oh, it's a good song." I'm like,
yeah, it's great. It's a good album too.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else. I got to check it out. I hope the best for them, but hopefully down the road I plan on doing some more different side stuff, and even for myself, just a little something different too as well.
Let's see. How was Russia, other than Ryan's bass being stolen?
Man, it was one of those things where you're really excited and really nervous, because you hear the good and the bad, and anytime you go international, you don't know what to expect. And the thing that we were always told by other crew people and other bands are like, make sure you keep an eye on all of your equipment coming and going through the border. The most crooked part of that culture over there is actually the law, the police system. Coming through, you have nothing. You can't say anything if it's gone, and they say it's gone. There's nothing you have to file it with your insurance. So getting in was not that bad, except for Ryan's bass getting MIA. And then once we were in there, the culture, the people were actually really nice, nicer than I expected.
The fans on the videos that I've seen have been, they all looked
yeah,
like a great
it's
time.
really cool. St. Pete was cool, but Moscow, like, it got to all of us. We all like almost teared up because we'd never been like you never meet these people. You don't speak their language, and the place was pretty much sold out. Just I didn't even have to sing. I mean, it was just.
It's some of the best YouTube videos out there from those shows.
Yeah, it's cool, and I mean, the only hang up we had was leaving Russia. There was some sort of misunderstanding on our visa, and it expired a day early. And in most countries, when your visa expires, they get you out of there. So we're in the airport, making a mad dash to get on the plane. We go up there, and they check our visa. They're like, your visa's expired, pretty much, after they talk Russian for a while. And then they're like, you can't get on the plane. We're like, but we're leaving. This is to go back to the United States. We don't need this visa anymore.
Right.
Nope. You're in possession of you're in Russia's possession for that time. So we had to go to the consulate, then we had to go to long story short, it took us 48 hours to get home. I slept in a subway terminal in Paris, France it was like an 18-hour layover. I mean, it was just, and you had to pay them off cash under the table to extend our visa just a few hours to get another flight to get out of there. So it was pretty sketchy. We've heard rumors before that like they've detained people there up to a week when their visa expires. So make sure your visa's spot on if you go to Russia.
We saw a couple weeks ago a Minus the Machine video posting on Facebook that you guys were filming it. Is that going to come out?
It should be done. It's actually this 6 in a row that we're doing right now. Sort of ate up my time because our bus internet really sucks. But tomorrow I'm supposed to get the old computer out and try to go through the final editing. It's really just a quickie. It was just a day in the life of us, rehearsals, getting ready for going on tour. So we saw the response on the Knives video and how much people love
really
that.
Cool.
That's the touring side of it. This was sort of like the warm up, the inside of our warehouse, just sort of different angles on that. So that's what the Minus thing will be, and it should be done fairly soon.
I heard on Sirius the other day, I caught the last part of the interview, that the Tennessee Theater show would be released. I missed when it was.
Yeah,
that's relatively soon.
Very soon. We're currently working on. There used to be these. Well, there still are. There's these sites that have come up like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and we're going through one. We didn't want it to look like it's some sort of like desperate plea to raise money. We just have all this stuff like over the years of touring. We have backdrops, scrims, clothes, just tons of stuff that is sitting in storage that we felt like our fans would appreciate more than us. So our plan is we have it all set up in different levels. Entry level is like the EP, all the way up to like more expensive packages. But it'll be on Pledge Music, and it's going to the posting for that will probably come up tomorrow. And when the posting comes up, you'll see all the different tiers. I think the bottom one is $10 for the digital download of the acoustic part of it. It's just the acoustic EP. And it's with this string section. It actually sounds way better than we expected. We're pretty proud of it. But the cool part about going through Pledge Music to get it instead of iTunes, you can get it through iTunes for about the same price. It'll be like $8 or something. But to do it through Pledge Music, you'll get an instant grad song. So the minute you download or you buy the one through Pledge, you'll get a code for a download for an early release on one song to hold you. Because I think the actual release for everything we're shooting mid to late September, probably 17th or the week after, and that's when we'll release it to iTunes. And we're not really going to try to put physical copies in music stores because it's just sort of hard. We'd rather just put it online, and the physical copies will make and be sold through Pledge Music and through those different auction tiers. So all the fans check it out. There's a lot of cool different stuff. There's like drumhead packages, t-shirt packages, clothing packages, broken instrument packages, all the way up to like backdrops. I mean, we're just sort of auctioning off all of our old stuff that we feel that other people would appreciate.